All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start that recording just in case people want to review it. Where are we? So let me show you where those two assignments are. So there's two design week. So the first one is Meet the Masters. And again, this one is free and it's during class. And I want you to get your ticket before Wednesday, even though the event isn't until a week from Wednesday. I just don't want it to sell out. So 10 points screenshot of your ticket, and then 10 points to actually attend the event. That's essentially your attendance grade for that night. And then the other event is the architectural sketching class. Now this one I'm making extra credit only because this class is a $15 fee. And that would be mean if I made you guys spend $15 to go to a class. The gentleman who's hosting it though, his name is Eric Jacoby. Let me show you some of his work. He's a really neat designer. He's an architect and oh, am I not? I'm so sorry. There's so many times where I feel like because I'm recording that I'm broadcasting. Thanks, Trey. So here's Eric's website, but he designs furniture. Let me show you some of his sketches too. Hopefully he has some on here. He makes toys now. I mean, if... To which one? The one you're showing right now. The sketch event? Oh no! Is it? Let me take a peek. That's such a bummer. I'll see if there's like wait list room, because this would be such a good one to go to. Oh darn. Let me reach out to the AIA to see if they'll open it up to some students. If there is a wait list though, I think this would be really cool to jump into. I'm just trying to find some of his sketches real quick. So here's an idea of what his sketches are like. And I slacked on that one too, Connor. I should have grabbed one. So I'll reach out to the AIA to see if there's any way that they could maybe squeeze some of us in. Just to get kind of an idea, how many of you guys would be interested in going to this event if we were to get some more space? About a handful. Oh, several of you guys. Okay. I'll see what we can do. Maybe we can con Eric into opening up another event. But I'd love to go to this one as well. And on that one, that's that's on Wednesday. I think the Meet the Masters, that must be on a Monday. Okay, so those are kind of like the two events. I'll see what I can do. So next week, right now, I mean, we'll find out for sure on Wednesday, but right now it's tentative that we're actually not having in-class lab next week. It might just be an entire design week. But on that note, I do want you guys on your own to find different events to go to. And I am just struggling. Let me just go to Salt Lake Design Week. So we have the two that I've posted. Like I said, one of them might not work out. But if you look at the schedule, there are things all throughout the day and all throughout the valley. So there's different movies that you can attend. And if we're not having class, I do want you guys to attend one other event outside of Meet the Masters. So find something else that you guys can go to. And I'll put something up on, excuse me, something up on Canvas for you guys to submit. Oh, she does?
It's the one on Wednesday, the keynote speaker.
Okay, and you know, that one was kind of expensive. Let me go back to him.
It is expensive. That's the one she wants us to get.
Really? Does she realize it costs money?
Yeah, no, she knows.
Oh, that's so mean. Shelly, if you're listening to this, you are mean. That's insane. I'm going to have to talk to her about that.
Really great. You guys should really try to get there. Let's go.
No, go to the free one, Ken Pollard.
Oh, no, we're doing Monday as well.
Okay, fair enough.
So, as for next, so this is all next week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so.
Yep, a week from today.
So, aside from the Meet the Masters, we also have to attend one of our choosing.
Yeah.
That's most preferably next Wednesday, but can it be on a different day?
Absolutely, anything here. And even next Wednesday isn't required because it's $15. And I mean, even if I'm not in school, 15 bucks is 15 bucks. And unless it's something that I want to go to, I don't want to go to something that's going to be really awkward and you guys are going to leave and be like, I can't believe I spent 15 bucks on that. I could have had a good meal. And so the other one that I think sounds really cool, but again, some of these got pretty expensive this year. I think most of them are free. This one is $15, but it's really interesting to see all of the different pieces of furniture different people design. And the reason why I like this one too is it feels like more of a party. So it's kind of like buying a ticket for an opening reception, and there's food and drinks and mingling. So I do like this one more than Wednesday, don't tell Shelly, because it's less of a lecture and more of an open house.
Okay.
This is the opening party. The $15 is for the opening party, but if I'm not mistaken, I think you can go through the weekend and see it for free, but I could be wrong, but look into it. But I think that
some of them will be on display at Trolley Square, yes.
yeah, for free, but the Friday night is like the party that you can go into and you need tickets for. But if you don't want to go to the party, whether the timing doesn't work out or it's just you don't want to spend $15 on a ticket, I get it. I'm gonna see if you have to purchase tickets, because again, in the past, okay, I think it's $15 no matter what now, unfortunately. So if you're gonna go to the opening party. Let me make sure though, if I go on Saturday. What the heck, people? They're not going to feed you on Saturday or Sunday. So go Friday and get your money's worth. Oh my God, I'm my mother's daughter. Hi, Mom. Okay. Any questions about next week so far? Okay, so we definitely have Monday night off. Right now, I'm just going to say Wednesday is tentative. I just want to make sure that all of you guys take advantage of design week if we're not having lab time. But I would say right now it's 70% that Monday and Wednesday will be off. I will give you something to work on in the meantime. It's a fun project.
Will you write us an email just reminding us?
Absolutely. And they'll be, so right now they're up here like assignments. Right now, if you guys look, the due date is Wednesday, this Wednesday, because I want you to RSVP and get tickets. And then after that, the assignment will be reopened so that I can give you guys credit for actually going to the events. And I will be making a generic one too for whichever one you decide to go to.
Okay.
All right? Okay, so just an FYI, if you are watching the lecture for a review, the actual lecture starts 8 minutes in. So it's 8 minutes of Design Week talk and then the actual lecture. All right, so with that, let me also open up the updated assignment. Okay. One of the notes I made in your assignment, I don't know if you guys read through it or not, but we're going to do 2 copies of this particular exercise / assignment this week. So please save one of them as the exercise, and then save the other one for your assignment. And let me show you what I mean by that. So if you read through this list right here, please save this file and a copy, one for the exercise and one for the assignment. So for the exercise, we're just going to be changing each t-shirt color to read red. And then in your own file for the assignment, you will change each shirt to a different color and then add a logo. Does that make sense? And so that's why we want 2 different copies. Let me grab one and we will get started. Okay. Okay, so tonight we are going to move into something called color transformations. And after tonight, we're actually going to start mixing everything up. We kind of did that last week with the library and the other assignments. Now we're just adding another layer, and that's color transformations. And we're only going to be spending like another week or 2 on Photoshop. I just about passed out today. I talked to Kevin before class. They've already abandoned Photoshop and moved into InDesign. And I was like, there's so much. How can you be done already? So we have about another week or 2 in here. before we hop into InDesign. And even when we're in InDesign, we're going to come back into Photoshop. So just to let you guys know, that's kind of where we're at, where we're going.
They don't use Photoshop anymore, or just the program?
I don't know. They just moved on to, so we will be using InDesign in this class, but he skipped some stuff. I don't know what that stuff is, but you know, he said he'll come back.
So
Alex?
should we, like, begin the process of doing, downloading the next program we're gonna use?
You have a couple weeks. That's kind of what my warning was about. So if you want to get it sooner than later, sure, but we're going to be in Photoshop for at least another week or two.
Okay.
All right? Okay. So for tonight, it still involves masking, but what we're doing tonight is actually selecting a specific color and then using transformations to change that. So before we even mask, I'm going to show you guys how to apply a color transformation. Now at the beginning of class, I mentioned that we are changing color. And the reason why I do this assignment, it's kind of to poke fun. Some of you guys might think it's funny, maybe not. I personally think that every time I see somebody wearing a BYU shirt for blue, I think, oh, that should be red for the Utes. So that's where this assignment started. I really don't care, but that's kind of where it started. So follow me here. I'll show you where the buttons are. We'll do it really quickly, and then I'm going to show you how to do it with the mask, kind of like the right way. So down here with our object transformations, if you pull down, there's one called hue/saturation. So go to that one, and just like before, it's going to take you into the properties menu. And I'm just going to run back down to layers to show you that now there's another layer mask, and this time it's a hue saturation. So do you guys see that there's a similar pattern? It did it with levels, it did it with the mask, now it's doing it with hue saturation. Now if I come back to my properties, we can easily just slide these left and right, and not only is the t-shirt color changing, but you can see his skin color, his lips, those are also changing.
How do you do hue saturation?
Oh,
Hue saturation.
let me come back. Actually, let me undo. Open. So on your layer manager, down here, hue saturation. That's what happens when we take a day off. And again, what we're doing right now, we're just playing with the hue, and then the saturation change. So if you go to the right, it really saturates it, so it makes it really bold. And then if you go to the left, it kind of dulls it out to the point where if you slide it all the way to the left, you see how it kind of just turns into like a black and white color. In a nutshell, that's how it works. What we're really going to be working on tonight is this button right here, Colorize. And actually, before I hit that, do you guys notice that, let me come back over here. So it was a blue shirt, right? And when I'm in the green hue, do you see how this definitely isn't a green shirt yet? What it's doing right now is it's taking the blue color it was, and it's adding a green tone to it. It's not until we press this right here, Colorize, that it actually replaces that color with the hue that you are selecting. Do you see the difference between the two? So without Colorize, it's adding that color. And unfortunately, I do not know enough about color theory to know, like for instance, I don't know anything. Blue plus yellow makes green, right? So see how I went to yellow and now the t-shirt's green? So that's what that's doing. So if you ever wanted to actually add a specific color, you could use this. What I use it for mostly in my practice is this Colorize, where I actually come here and say turn it this particular color. And then again, I can use the saturation and the lightness to control what that looks like. You guys with me so far? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and undo that because we're gonna do it the right way now. So I'm gonna go back, if I go to my history, I'm gonna hop back into open. That was just kind of a quick example. And what we're gonna do tonight is select the t-shirt first. So that's the only thing that gets changed. We're gonna leave his skin tone, his lips, his hair, all the same color. This will teach you, or this is kind of like the secret behind your catalog. So if you see like in Costco 10 different sheet sets. They all look the same, but they're all different colors. Or a t-shirt catalog, J. Crew. This is what they're doing. It's all Photoshop. One person is standing there wearing a white t-shirt, and then one of us are in Photoshop kind of colorizing it to match that color. So with this is actually where I like to use the magic wand tool, what was basically useless to us those first couple weeks. And I think on one-on-one crits with people, I've kind of gone over this, but we haven't gone over this together as a class yet. So hit W for wand, and then right click to go back to the magic wand and not the quick selection tool. So again, take a peek at the tool that's selected and also your cursor. It should look like a little magic wand. And if that looks right, I'm ready to go if you guys are. You guys good? Okay, now from here, what I like to do is right click, and you should be able to see something called color range. So again, right click and go to color range. And then from here, if I just take my, there's an eyedropper that pops up. I'm actually gonna move this out of the way so I see his shirt a little bit more. But if I just click into here, it gives you a preview of what it's selected.
Wow.
Hayden, I love ya. Thanks for giving me the reassurance that you're liking it. You could, sometimes it's good enough to where you can pull down on this menu and go to blues. The trouble with that though is if there are blues close to one another and you want one blue and not the other, it, you know, it gets a little hazy there. But I'm gonna go back to sampled. I'm gonna click his shirt and see how right now, like in his underarm area and up by his shoulder, at least on mine, it's not being selected yet. You can control the fuzziness, and the fuzziness means how far outside of the eyedropper do you want to keep spreading your selection. So I'm actually going to turn this up. I'm not going to make it so solid to where it looks like kind of fake, maybe. I'll see how that goes. But I'm coming up to about 93%, because you do want some kind of natural shadows in like the underarm crevice and maybe around like his collarbone. Okay. And then once you have this selected, once you're kind of happy with your selection, go ahead and click OK, and it should be selected. And now, and again, I know it's selected because I see the little ants marching. After that, I'm going to go and add the hue saturation. And if I look at my layers, it's being limited to that shirt now. So from here, I'd like you guys to go to the hue saturation menu and play with these different toggles until you get a red t-shirt. And I'll check in just a minute to see where you guys ended up. Okay, let me see where I was. So I got my mask and I'm gonna go to my properties. The first thing I wanna do is click on Colorize so that I know that I'm turning it red. And red could be a tricky color because we're on either spectrum here. I'm really gonna turn up the saturation on this. And I'm even going to turn down the lightness. I like a really bold crimson red.
What's Colorize doing?
So if I take off Colorize, I'm going to deselect it. What it does is without Colorize, do you see how right now I'm on green? It's adding green to the blue. So if I come down here to yellow, it's adding yellow to the blue, which makes it green. Where Colorize, you don't have to think about that. It just makes it the color that you are selecting, and then you can use saturation and lightness. Tatiana asked me, and I can see it on mine too, do you see that on my mask? I'm not sure if it was the way I created it or what was going on, but you can see how he has kind of a hard edge around his arms. On the red color, like over here, it's not so bad. But I think it's just a matter of going to maybe even my the mask that I've created and seeing if I need to make it a little bit bigger or smaller. Let me just try it with my brush real quick. So if I come in here, that's not the way to go. Okay, so this is actually what's going on here. Is it's actually part of the original shirt. See how there's like this dark black line here? And the tricky thing about black is that it's almost like any color you add to black, it still is black. So in that case, we might actually have to go through and edit the original shirt. But let's go through the other colors. It's not terrible right now. It's not perfect, but it isn't terrible, at least on mine. The red actually, it really sticks out. Yeah, so for the light colors, what I would do is I might go around the edge and just clean up that shadow. But keep going with these. So for this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in its own folder. I'm going to call it Red 1. And I'm going to drop both of these in here and then turn it off. This one's going to be tricky to select. Unless you remember, okay, good. Hayden said no, it's not. Unless you remember one of our tricks from last week or whenever I saw you guys last. It feels like it's been 3 weeks. So see if you can remember a quick way to mask this and then turn it red. And just like last time, I'm going to wait a few minutes for you guys to try it on your own. I really hope you guys are at a point in the semester where you can do most of this on your own. But I'll walk you through it in just a few. All right, I'm going to hop back in for just a minute, and I'm going to remind you guys how you can quickly mask something. I'm going to make my group first. This part doesn't matter if you do it before or after. I'm going to throw my white shirt in here. And the shortcut for this would be, white is really hard to grab. If you guys remember from the first day of class when we were doing the chucks, it was really hard to get any of the white. Like on this quick example I did, it's getting the background, behind his arms, all this stuff. What you can do though, if we know that the blue shirt and the white shirt have the exact same selection, I can hold the Alt key down to make a copy of this and drop it onto my white shirt. That didn't work out as lovely as I thought it would. Let me try it one more time. What I might do, hang on, this will be better. I'm going to put on my hue saturation first, and then I'm going to hold Alt down and copy the layer mask on top of it. Okay, let me do that one more time a little bit slower. Okay, so here's my white shirt. First, just out of good habits, I'm going to drop it in my red group. And then after I have it in there, I'm going to turn on my hue saturation. And before I make any changes, I'm going to copy this mask by holding the Alt key down and dragging and dropping it on top of this one. And it's just asking me replace the layer mask. I really haven't done anything on this one, so it's okay to replace. And now with that one being off, I should be able to go to the properties, colorize it. Really have to turn up the saturation, and then eventually it gets the color. So again, on all of these, we are going for red. And this one, are your underarms looking really funny on this one? Okay. That's just working with the white t-shirt. There's a couple other tricks that we'll learn later in the semester that will help us clean those up.